Welcome back. For the second time in 6 months, District Attorney Kim Ogg has asked Harris County commissioners for more prosecutors, only to be turned away empty-handed by her fellow Democrats. This second request for 7 prosecutors and 3 investigators seemed to many reasonable, considering the daunting task of reviewing thousands of cases related to the HPD narcotics officers implicated in the botched Harding Street raid, a gunfight which left 2 civilians dead and 5 policemen wounded. The funding refusal comes as both Ogg and Democratic judges have endured criticism from Police Chief Art Acevedo and Police Union President Joe Grimaldi, who alleged low bonds and lenient sentencing have allowed violent criminals to reoffend. In a recent interview with Fox 26, Judge Lena Hidalgo suggested those incidents were isolated and shouldn't derail long overdue criminal justice reform. On Tuesday, County Commissioner Steve Raddick pushed back hard, saying Hidalgo was clearly weak on crime.
It is an irresponsible use of taxpayer dollars to every time there is a headline, have folks here. We can't have departments lining up, violating our budgeting process and our budget decision.
You don't have a problem doubling the budget of public defender, but when it comes to protecting law and order, you have a real problem.
Okay, Charles, I know you cover this stuff. What's your take?
Yeah, so I think it's really irresponsible for Judge Hidalgo to say that every time we have a big headline, they can't come and ask for more money. I mean, we just saw them last week switch a bunch of mobility funding that was already pre-budgeted, and they did it with one vote without much public notice. But with this issue, I think we have Pecan Park, we have the Pam Turner case in Baytown, the district attorney's office is overloaded. They need more money to be able to handle these cases, and it's strictly political that the county judge and her 2 Democrat colleagues don't want to fund the DA's office more. And I will also add that while I think the DA's office should have more money, I do take issue with one thing they said during this hearing for this funding. Vivian King, the district attorney's chief of staff, said that a local reporter was biased in her reporting on crime stats because of her personal criminal past, and I think that was a little bad. Yeah, that was really bad. But they need more money.
What's your take? Is this political?
Yeah,
it is. I think they're playing politics right now, the commissioners and the county judge, with this request.
Okay, Wayne Dolcefino, you saw this going down, and you know Kim Ogg pretty well.
Yeah, so I'm conflicted because I think she has not turned out to be a good DA, but I also think that you need to be able to investigate the police. Look, I'd give her more prosecutors, but they are soft on crime there, and so I think both things can be true. You need more people, and you're weak on crime.
Okay, Tony, you're ready to go.
Well, no, these are Republican stereotypes that Democrats are weak on crime. They always run on that. I'm proud of County Commissioner Judge Hidalgo, who's undoing the mess Republicans have left. So let's get something straight. This is a Republican-run system that was hard on Latinos and African Americans and poor white folks. I'm glad they're straightening it out. And let's get something straight. She said she's going to go back and look at the system and review it, because these Republicans don't understand there's a profound difference between just slapping something together or looking at the whole system. So she's smart because she's going to review the system and see what can be done to effectively and profoundly change the way that system works. Then she'll get her support. So Ogg needs to wait, and it'll be helped.
How can you look at this whole system if you don't have enough prosecutors to go through thousands of cases?
Well, but at the same time, that's not going to fix it. That's one piece of a more complicated machinery. So once they get back the analysis to break it down, I'd like to see that, because the prosecuting side works different than the defender side. Everybody knows that. Everybody who knows law knows that.
Okay, I'm going to go to Bob Price, who covers law enforcement a bunch.
Well, it's interesting that Tony wants to blame this on Republicans when this is a Democrat district attorney, a Democrat county judge, and a majority Democrat commissioners court. This is clearly a Democratic Party infight going on about
decades of GOP control,
the system forward. So the judge doesn't want to give her the money to investigate these potential crimes by police against people in minority communities, and yet at the same time they want to be soft on criminals that are out there violently committing acts against the public. We do need criminal justice reform in this county, and bond reform is part of that. But we need to keep violent criminals locked up and not let the people who are committing nonviolent crimes to sit in jail for months and years at a time.
Wayne, you want to add something?
Yeah, so it was weird. When I was helping Kim Ogg when she ran for DA, right, we talked about saving $12 million by not prosecuting marijuana stuff anymore. They don't. And yet we don't have any money. And so I said, what happened to all the money we were saving from that to hire more prosecutors? I just raise it as something that somebody should actually ask.
It should be noted that there are 2 Democratic primary challengers that I've heard of coming up against Ogg. Charles, jump in again.
Yeah, so I just want to make a point to what Tony said, was that we do need to look at the whole system, but right now we have the Pecan Park case where HPD had a botched raid, and we need to solve that. And we also have the Pam Turner case in Baytown, and looking at the entire system isn't going to give a resolution to those families right away, so we need to give them more prosecutors, give them more funding so we can figure out what happened here, and then we can look at the whole system when we don't have these pressing headline cases. And yes, I also think that because of the challengers and because of the way that the court currently wants to see a new DA in with one of these challengers, they're giving Kim Ogg a very hard time and not providing her the resources she needs.
Are they not differentiating between misdemeanor indigent folks languishing in jail and letting out, you know, violent criminals, people with a big jacket full of felonies? I mean, Bob.
Well, I think that's very true. When you look at someone who's completed criminal histories of violent robberies in the past who gets deferred adjudication, that's not a bond issue, that's a judge issue. That's ridiculous. Deferred adjudication is for someone who's messed up and needs a second chance, not somebody who has two previous convictions for armed robberies. The judge needs to be schooled on that. I think the other issue, the political issue in this, is that the two commissioners that are in kind of swing districts don't want the law enforcement unions coming after them politically.
Okay, Michelle, I got to ask you this. Is there danger politically in swinging too far to the progressive side too fast?
I think it could be a little bit dangerous to, you know, sort of cannibalize your existing district attorney and play politics in that way. Yes, I think it could be a risk.
Okay, Moser, you've heard the discussion. You want to add anything?
Yeah, no, I mean, when I got here, I said, I don't understand, because I actually agree a bit with my Republican colleagues here, because it doesn't, I understand why they rejected the first request for, what was it, like 100 new prosecutors, but this seemed a very modest request, and if you want to exonerate nonviolent offenders who, you know, who should be out of jail, like having a prosecutor with 1,000 caseload seems problematic. So yeah, I mean, I just was like, is there politics involved? Because I don't know that much. And it seems like I've learned that yes, there is that element.
One
in
sentence.
that decision.
3 terrible knuckleheads need to go to jail, fine, but let's be fair to poor people.
Yes,
Okay,
I agree.
good enough. Just